Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting from New York, upstate, near the Great Lakes, it's Lighting the Void. And I'm your host, Joe Roop. Welcome back to the program. We are live on Fringe.fm, KTLK Digital Broadcasting. We're live right now. I want to say that, like, what is live? What else does live mean? March the 10th, Wednesday, March the 10th, on into the 11th. It's midnight here on the East Coast. The weather's fine. Tonight we're going to talk with a special guest, and he's got a lot of interesting subjects to talk about too. Jonathan Whitcombe is going to be, Alex Whitcombe is going to be here with us. I think I played, you know what, where I messed that up in my head is I played baseball with a guy named Jonathan Whitcombe. So when I saw that last name, it triggered that. But it's Alex Whitcombe. We're going to talk about OBEs and paranormal experiences tonight. Speaking of which, if you have an experience, you can go to our chat room and type that in and talk about your experience. If you go to thefringe.fm/chat room, you can go to our Discord server, and the call-in number for tonight is 1-800-588-0335. That's toll free from the United States or Canada. I want to thank Ken Allen for coming on last night. It's always a heavy subject when people call in and talk about the occult, especially if for as much stuff as he was in. I always think that it takes a brave soul to talk about those things. It shouldn't be that way, but it still is. So yeah, tonight we're just going to talk about these questions. I always have some questions I want to ask the guests before they come on. And if you want to go check out his website too, it's facebook.com/Drifted Creations, Vancouver Island. You can drop that into the chat room too. It's a pretty long link. That's why I didn't put it on the flyer. But so the real question, I think we've asked this before, is like, what makes certain people more prone to paranormal experiences? Sometimes I hear people talk about the paranormal experiences they have, and it's like some people don't have any type of experiences that happen to them, and others, it seems like it happens to them all the time. And I bring up Robert Monroe's book a lot because I feel like everybody should read that trilogy at least once a year, or listen to it on Audible. He was prone to out-of-body experiences. They just started happening to him. Like it wasn't something that he was trying to do. Where other people like me or others per se, where we might obsess and try to get something done or try to accomplish something, it does seem that others just have natural abilities to do these things for some reason. So that's a pretty interesting thing to talk about too. Also, can we close the door to expanded awareness in these experiences? I think we close the door. I think at some point we all have this ability in childhood, and either based on what we believe, because our parents told us that we were just either using our imaginations or what we saw wasn't there, or just society in general, eventually it starts kind of wearing on your consciousness and you don't get to see into these realms anymore. And I think even grown-ups, adults, when they have some type of paranormal or supernatural experience, they write it off. Some people might say they're crazy, or It was all in the mind. It was a fluke. It only happened one time. So it just depends, right? And it's kind of a weird thought too, because if everything is perception and everything is, you only think about this stuff when you're isolated, by the way. I mean, have you ever had a thought that maybe, just maybe, because I've thought about this, that you were the only thing that was really conscious and everything else in your reality was just an illusion? Just for you, like the Truman Show. Even the voice, even my voice. What if I'm just a program in your reality? And all these other listeners that you think are listening to the broadcast are just other parts of the program. And you're the only one. Wouldn't that be a trip? Now, I know a lot of you have had that thought, because I've had that thought too. But how is that not, I mean, if there is a place called the collective unconscious and a place where we're all one, then is what I'm really saying untrue? More shower thoughts, right? There's a new person in the chat room. Looks like Nay, asking when we do the live show. 9 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday, which would be midnight Eastern. But I think these experiences that we have they kind of tell us what's true and what's not true about it. At the very least, who we are or what we are when we start to have, especially when you have an experience that changes up your paradigm. Now I've asked this question too, because a lot of things are perception. And I've asked this question 1,000,000 times over. Like, how do we even know we're all seeing the same color? Have you ever thought about that? From the time you were born, you were taught what color is what, but how do you know everybody's actually seeing the same color? And I know this sounds weird, but think about this for a minute. Color is what? It's the reflection of light. Certain molecules turn different shades. But what if all of our brains were programmed on these same molecules to see different shades? But when we're taught what the colors are, they're still the same because it's the same molecule, but we don't know that we're all seeing different colors. That's kind of trippy too. More shower thoughts by Joe. I started thinking about, there's only a couple people that I know that actually gets what I'm saying there. James Alcido said vision is overrated. That's interesting. Even in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, that book, which I don't really know how credible it is, but it does say in that book that all people don't see the same things. Think about it for a second. If everything is programmed by, everything is molecules, and everything is light reflection or refraction and vibration. If you have two people, they have two different minds, they're running two different operating systems, but a teacher comes along and points at a molecule and says, this is red. But both of those minds are actually seeing different shades. But throughout their whole life, they're both going to call it red. It's kind of weird. I don't know. If anybody gets that, let me know. I think about stupid stuff like that all the time. But I understand why certain people don't believe in paranormal experiences or supernatural experiences, because if you live your whole life and you don't have any type of, I guess, paradigm shaking experiences, you don't have anything that changes your experience. You keep seeing the same stuff. Looks like Groundhog Day over and over again. Like 9 Inch Nails says, every day is exactly the same. You start to believe that nothing's different. Nothing. But all it takes is one time, just one experience to shake up your entire paradigm. I know this too. And then everything changes. at that point, everything becomes possible. And I still have doubts. I mean, I still kind of have doubts about certain cryptids and things like that. I just, there's certain, I'm not saying that I believe in everything, but what I will say is that when I did have my first out of body experience, it caused me to like start believing in different things, or at least to keep an open mind to them. When I started doing the show, I think the first things that we talked about, it wasn't a lot of it was magic and Rosicrucian stuff and occult and esoteric things. But I didn't really, I was only doing like one show a week. If you go back in the archives, I think the first show was actually in 2016 or 2015. And then you can kind of tell because there's a long like break. There's a really long break before I did another show because I had that out of body experience. I watched myself sleep. And after that, I had a few more that were never the same. I had another one where I was blind, but I could actually feel on my desk. I could feel like I left my body sleeping on the couch. I couldn't see anything, but I was rubbing my hand across. God, it was freaky. I was rubbing my hand across the desk and I could feel this crazy pull that was trying to pull me back to my body the whole time. It was pretty trippy. I've had other experiences trying to get out of body where it felt like my ears were going to pop and my feet would rise. Now this is where it gets weird because I was listening to William Buellman tapes and I would lay down and it felt like if any of you have ever had this happen, you can call in to it's 1-800-588-0335. My feet would rise up and my head was like weighed down. And I was thinking like, why is my head not lifting up? And my ears would start to feel pressurized. I had other experiences where I would come out halfway, like from the middle of my body. And then I even had other experiences taking some of these courses where I would go into a meditation or something, and instead of actually feeling that process of moving from the body to out of it, I would just end up standing somewhere, like in my doorway or something. Really, really trippy stuff. I've seen shadow figures that look like Rorschach blobs. I've seen a ghost walk across the street. I haven't had a lot of experiences, though, to be honest with you. Maybe more than most. But some people, and I don't know why this is, sometimes I wonder, everybody always wonders, why are they just making all this stuff up? Well, I mean, if someone tells you that they saw, an alien, fairy, Lucifer, and they just start going down the list, you start to wonder if it's true, if what they're saying is true. But there are people like Jason Quitt and others that just tend to have these experiences. They could be living a whole different life. How would you know? That's my point. You wouldn't know. Because perception is everything. Perception is what defines your reality. What you believe, the story that you tell in your head constantly every day about what's real and what's not, is the most powerful thing that creates your reality. The narratives and the stories that you tell. And in the paranormal realm or the supernatural realm, all it takes is for one thing to annihilate your story, your narrative. I've never witnessed an exorcism, although I heard a lot of people, we talked about that last night. I've never seen or witnessed a demon possession. Oh, there was something else kind of weird I did experience. When I was listening to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, it was was like 3:00 in the morning, and I was coming towards the end of my construction business, towards the end of the housing rush. And so I got down to where I had to do a lot of the stuff on my own. So I was out at a house at 3:00 in the morning, painting the living room and the kitchen, listening to the radio all by myself. It's kind of creepy, but it was in a rural neighborhood. And so I popped in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, but it was being read by a guy named Josh Reeves. It's a really good read. And I would work for about 4 hours and then I'd go take a break. So I went outside and I had I was just pulled in the driveway. The driveway was slanted up a little bit. And it was a really pretty night. Like you could see stars from horizon to horizon. And I had a 1994 green step-side Chevrolet with a 4.3 engine in it. One of the best shade tree trucks you can own. I don't know if any of you guys know what that means. Shade tree means just you can fix the truck. It's easy to work on. And I went out there and I had a feeling about, what was I asked? I don't know what it was. Something made me look up because I was listening to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth and I saw this like star. I mean, it was right in the middle of the sky. And it was really bright. It was like almost as bright, if not brighter than Venus. And I thought, well, maybe it's an airplane. Maybe it's an airplane coming towards me, and I don't know. But I kept staring at it. And eventually I thought, man, that is really bright, That's not a star. That's got to be an airplane. That's got something. And I forget like what I asked it. I don't know if I asked a question. I don't remember what I did. I just remember because it was so long ago. I remember there was it was a coincidence and it turned like a spotlight and went out. Imagine it staring at a star for a long time. No clouds, by the way. This wasn't some type of weird optical illusion or a plane coming towards me. But you know what a spotlight looks like when it's shining right at you. And this thing is like, as soon as I looked at it, I was like, what is that? It turned like a spotlight and went out. It was really weird. And I know people are probably thinking, well, maybe it was a helicopter or maybe, no, it just wheeled really quick and went out. It was really strange. That's probably the closest thing I could say other than what I saw when I was with John Polk to a UFO. So see, like I'm just a normal person like you. I haven't had a lot of crazy paranormal experiences. I really haven't. Practiced ceremonial magic for years, done, a lot of meditation stuff. I've had a lot of trippy dreams and a lot of weird things that happen in hypnagogia like we all do. But as far as like seeing Bigfoot or aliens or massive UFO sightings, anything like that, no, still nothing. But the out-of-body experience changed everything. So this guy that we're about to speak with has had quite a lot of experiences. Alex Whitcombe. And I'm going to try to find out why some people have strange happenings, including the out-of-body experience, or see shadow people or weird aliens, things like that. Why does this happen to some people a lot? Curious about this. And how come others don't experience it hardly at all? All right, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. We're going to try to get our guest on here. My name's Joe Roop. You're listening to Lighting the Void live on the Fringe FM. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Fringe FM listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to the Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to AncientLifeOil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm, from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries, be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to AncientLifeOil.com for great CBD. That's AncientLifeOil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Want to know what's on the Fringe FM? Check out our schedule at thefringe.fm.
Hola, Fringe listeners. This is Dave Cruz of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to The Fringe FM.
This is Malorcas45, fan of The Fringe FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision for your third eye vision.
My name is Jake. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I am a Void Walker.
Hey, Joe Root. Thanks for lighting the void. This is Janine in the bluegrass of Kentucky, and I am a Void Walker.
What's up, guys? This is Damien from San Marcos, Texas, and I'm a Void Walker. I listen to the show to keep myself aligned with the world.
Hi, this is Laura, aka Laura Lavender. I'm from Las Vegas, and I listen to Lighting the Void because it helps me understand some of the strangest experiences I've had. So thanks for all that you do and for always being there for us, Joe.
Hi, this is Kronox from Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Hey, this is country music singer and Void Walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
Born out of the alchemical tradition of Paracelsus is a medical tradition called Spagyria. Though not many people practice this work today, Phoenix Aurelius has been researching and teaching this work for the last 15 years, and he needs your support.
Hi, I'm Phoenix Aurelius, and I'm the founder of the Phoenix Aurelius Research Society, where I perform modern scientific research on the methods and techniques of Paracelsian alchemy and Spagyria for health, wellness, agriculture, ecology, and more. All my work is 100% funded by the public, so if you like what I'm doing and you want to support my research, please consider making a purchase of spagyric medicines from my apothecary, fund your own spagyric IDF wellness research, or participate in my group study or one-on-one immersion courses so that you can learn how to perform this work for yourself. I want to thank you in advance for your support.
Visit thefringe.fm/alchemy research and enter coupon code FRINGE and receive 15% off anything and everything on the website. That's thefringe.fm/alchemy research. And thank you for doing your part and keeping alchemy alive in the modern day. All right, welcome back to Lighting the Void. If you want to support the show, you can go to lightingthevoid.com, click on the Patreon banner, or make a one-time donation or grab something from the shop. Leave us a good review, too. Anything you can to support the show, and also you can email the show at contact@lightingthevoid.com. So our guest, Alex Whitcombe, is here with us, and Alex, as an experiencer, he's an artist, a lifetime experiencer of strange happenings, including the out-of-body experience, sleep paralysis, shadow people, odd insects, alien encounters, time slips, and much more. And you can go check out his Facebook page at facebook.com/Drifted Creations Vancouver Island. I checked out. It's pretty cool stuff. Thanks for coming on, Alex. Good to have you.
Oh, thanks, Joe. It's good to be here.
So tell me, when did all the weird stuff started happening? You're one of these people that I want to talk to where lots of things happen to. And I always wonder why there are a lot of people out there that have a lot of crazy things happen to them and then others don't, right? And usually when this stuff gets unlocked, it just keeps happening. So I kind of, I don't want to talk over you. You go ahead and tell me your story when it started.
I thought I was going to have a very simple life. I grew up as a very rational, skeptical, science-minded child, but once stuff started happening, man, it was just it just kept on going and going and going and getting weirder and weirder and blowing my mind at times.
What was the first thing that happened to you?
Well, growing up, I would have a lot of experiences with seeing odd lights in the sky. My mom had a UFO encounter, right outside of our house, full-fledged craft, when I was 3 years old. And I really do believe that something happened then, because I got visited quite a bit later. But yeah, the first kind of really, really bizarre thing that happened was the out-of-body experiences. And those happened, I guess it was 23. This was the first major thing. And I was living with my girlfriend at the time, which was soon to be my wife. And we had just moved into a house, a rental, and one of our hobbies was to go mushroom picking.
Nice.
For the edible kind, cook them up and eat them. And
okay. I was going to say that sounds fun.
Yeah, but the one day we stumbled across a patch of the indigenous psilocybe variety, which are called Liberty caps, and they're very tiny mushroom, very beautiful, elegant little mushroom. And so we kind of we hadn't really had much experience with
psychedelics.
Psychedelic mushrooms before. So we kind of ooh, do you want to have some tonight? Don't mind if I do.
Why not?
Yeah. So we gathered them, dried them, made them into tea. But these were just so little that they didn't do anything in terms of psychedelic action. So we were kind of waiting around. We didn't really know what to expect. And we also came at it with very good intention too, with respect to the mushroom and hey, you're a living being, and let's share this experience and let's see what you have to offer us in terms of experience or teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we had the tea. Couple hours go by, nothing. She says, I'm gonna go lay on the couch and read my book. Yeah, good idea. I'm gonna go lay on the bed and read mine. So while I'm on the bed, I feel this kind of vibration run through my body, and it kind of goes from my feet to my head, and it feels like a mild electric shock. Not at all unpleasant, but very surprising. I was like, whoa, what the Like at first I was like, oh, is that the mushrooms? No, that can't be the mushrooms. It's been like 3 hours. So I kind of tossed that out of the window, and so yeah, it kept on happening, like while I was laying there, and
the vibrations in your body.
Yeah, the vibrations in my body. Yeah, and went to bed, and subsequently, it kept on happening whenever I would go to bed and lay down. These vibrations would zoom, and it almost got to the point where I'm like, ooh, is there something wrong with me? Should I be seeing a doctor about this? Like, what's going on here? I thought I might be having like some sort of stroke thing or something.
Maybe a seizure. Yeah, I would think that too if it didn't go away.
Something like that. It was, and it wasn't until my dad's girlfriend lent me a book, Encyclopedia of the Paranormal, and I was flipping through that, and I came to the section on out of bodies, and it said, oh, sometimes out of bodies are precursored by a vibratory experience. I was like, oh, well, maybe that's what's going on here. So I'm like super curious at that thing. I'm like, well, hey, if this is out of bodies, like I am all into this. Because growing up, like I would have tons of flying dreams.
But now at that time though, you hadn't left the body. You just kept feeling the vibrations and stuff, right?
No, I just kept on feeling the vibrations. But I was like, well, hey, if this is that, I really want to see. Like, I want to explore this for sure. So I started just taking note of it, when it would come around, how it would feel, where it would start in my body, at what times, and just try to be with the experience, and so I kind of got a little bit used to it, and then I started actively calling it. So instead of me laying down and going to bed and it showing up, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna lay down and call it and see if it comes up. And inevitably, boom, yeah, it did. Like I could,
You mean like you could trigger it? You didn't verbally call it or anything? Gotcha.
No, not verbally, just mentally. I would go vibrations, and with a minute, they would zoom, zoom, zoom. So I kept on experimenting with that, and then I got to a point where I was like, okay, well, what do I do with this, right? What's the next step? And intuitively, I said to myself, well, okay, I think I have to like hold these vibrations in my body, like, because they're just passing through me right now. So what if I hold them in my body? And it's funny because I was never like a sports-minded kid or individual, but the visualization that I saw to hold these vibrations into my body was like catching them like a baseball, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and the first time I did that, it worked. Boom. Like, and they held in my body, and I was like totally excited. Like, oh my god, I did it! Oh yeah, sweet. But it was frightening because I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, and then fear started to come in because of that, right? So I was paralyzed, and I was trying to. I think I was laying next to my wife at that time, and I tried calling out for her. I'm like, oh, I can't even move. I can't. So I kind of freaked out, and it kind of rocketed me out of the vibratory stage. but I was still so curious, and I wanted to, like I couldn't stop this exploration in this. So I kept on doing it despite the fear. I'm like, well, okay, I'll just like hold fear in one hand and just move forward. Excuse me. So I kept on doing it and got a little bit comfortable with the experience, with the idea of me laying there, not being able to move, not being able to speak or do anything. So at that point, I'm like, well, okay, now what's the next stage? So intuitively, I'm like, okay, well, I think it's just get out of your body. And so I switched from holding the vibrations, mentally, to out of body. And so whenever I was laying like that and paralyzed and the vibrations were held within my body, that's what I would be chanting over and over again. Out of body. And lo and behold, boom, worked one night. And it was funny because it's so unexpected. I expected to just kind of like rise up out of my body and like turn over and see myself there, and in this kind of like something you see in a movie. But what happened was it was almost like I jolted up and like from my ankles. So I bounced up, like pivoted on my ankles, and I was at the foot of the bed, basically standing there on my heels, and the sheets were just like flapping around me, and I totally freaked out. I was like, oh my God, I did it. And as soon as I said, oh my God, I did it, like boom, like my eyes open up. But it was like, I was like totally elated. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Because you've been trying to, that's kind of what happened to me too. You finally do it and you're like, oh, it's real. Yeah.
It's real. I did it. Oh yeah. So the next time it was weird. It was almost like a slow crawl out of my body. At the time, I thought I was like still physical and not out of my body.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like that? Like it feels like it looks and feels like you just set up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It feels like I sat up, but like it's hard to focus, like my vision, and it feels like really slow. And once I kind of like got out and like stood up, I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm out. And I didn't even actually, you know what, Joe, I've never turned around and looked at myself.
Really?
Laying there. Never.
Was you even afraid to?
Me. No, not at all. Not at all. It was just like the feeling of getting out is so joyful and so exciting that I was just like, I'm off.
I'm out.
I'm flying. I'm going through walls. I'm going through windows. I want to get out of the house. I want to fly around. I want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it was just, I wasn't even concerned with my body laying there.
Dude, I can tell you really had one, because that's exactly how I felt. I was like,
really,
yeah, I was up, and it didn't but I could see real clearly too. And everything looked and felt just like it does right now, except I was lighter. I felt happier. Yeah. I felt different. It was like, I don't know.
Isn't it?
You just feel better all the way around.
You just feel better. Yeah. And despite the day I had, like working 9 to 5 and all the shit. The stuff that I would, none of that came over in out of bodies. Like I left the day behind. I left everything behind because it was just pure joy. I just every time.
Yeah, because I was like that too. I was like, get away from the body, go outside, fly around, go in a tree. But after that, I was like, all right, I'm going to the moon. But it didn't work. I didn't get to the moon.
Oh, you didn't, eh? You tried though. Right?
I tried, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even have that thought to go to the moon. I kind of wish I did. I've lost it now. I've lost my ability.
Yeah, me too.
Now. Yeah, really. What was that? May I ask?
Well, I don't know what happened. Like, I just remember I was really obsessed with getting out of body, and I was listening to like Robert Monroe's stuff, William Buellman's stuff, binaural beats. I was laying on the couch, and I would have the vibratory experiences, but I would never, like, I would sit up and I'd wake up, or I'd sit up and nothing would happen, or the vibrations would go away and nothing would happen. So I started like trying to I don't know. One night I was just like, all right, I'm going to let the vibrations kind of really start humming. And then like right in the middle of it, I'm just going to peel out really slow.
Right.
And then it worked.
Yeah.
I think it worked because I'd stopped caring if it worked, but I was still trying, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. My, I can't really do it anymore, willfully, due to the trauma that was associated with it later in 2005.
Well, tell me, yeah, keep going. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah. Okay. So, so I don't know, back to that first time, like when I actually got out, I was just so elated, and I started flying around our suite, our rental suite, and I went down, flew downstairs, and I saw my dog. My dog's like all excited, and I'm just like flying around the living room with him, and so yeah, that became like a hobby of mine, was to just like go out of body, and I would constantly bring tests to it, like, okay, well, how do I see better? You know, you mentioned like you could see like really good on the onset.
The first time, yeah.
It wasn't like that for me. It was almost like I was wearing like some sort of goggles or like a film over. But I think like I was too focused on the physical, like seeing with my quote unquote eyes, where you're not doing that out of body. You're seeing another way. So I was very focused on like, okay, well, open your eyes a bit more, because it felt like my eyes were closed, and I would tell myself, oh man, open your eyes, and I would open my eyes and I'd be back in bed, like physically. So I started developing these little techniques, and okay, well, it's not to do with the eyes. I just need more clarity. So I would tell myself, clarity now, clarity now, clarity now. And it would start to work. Like a haze would go away, and things would start to get clear. And it was awesome, because like some of these times, like just like the vision, like the visual quality would be like more real than real life, you know?
Yeah.
Everything just had such a
it's a vivid
deep
color. It's super,
yeah.
Like you got the best vision you could ever have.
Exactly. That wasn't the visual qualities were one thing I played around with, and then flying, I was like super interested in the intricacies of like flying. Like, okay, well, how do I, you know,
what did it feel like to you when you flew?
Well, it felt very natural, because I've been doing it like all my life in dreams, right?
Yeah.
So, and not lucid dreaming, but I would find myself in my dreams, and like bounding down the street, and all of a sudden I'd be flying, and then it'd be like, oh my God, yeah. So it was a known experience. So when I started going out of body, it was very comfortable, and I wasn't afraid of it at all. It was like walking, but better, and it felt absolutely amazing. But I would play with it, like, okay, well, what if I like push off with like the palms of my hands instead of my feet, or like, but again, I'm falling into that physical kind of thing where I'm bringing my physical form into the out of body experience. Yeah, and I would also create playgrounds, like learning grounds, to help me with this. And one of the ones that I created was like I don't know, it must have been like a 40 story, picture a 40 story building, but completely hollow on the inside, but with various layers and levels on the inside, and the entire interior is black, but it's overlaid with just a glowing green grid, kind of like Star Trek holodeck.
What? Okay.
Yeah. So I would create these things just to learn, just to fly, and like, okay, what happens if I go up and over here, and it was my training ground. But so I think I had been practicing, let's see, it was 2002 to 2005, so it was probably about 3 years. And I had been doing that, and I was in one of these training grounds. Or training buildings. I totally remember this. And practicing flying. And as I'm coming down, I noticed something on the opposite wall. I can't see anything, but I noticed a presence there, like a very fixed, focused presence looking at me. I was like, oh, there was someone looking at me. Who is that? What the hell? And like, this is 3 years of practice. So I got really good at, like, when I wanted to come back to my body, I would come back to my body. But this time was different. And as I'm approaching the wall, I'm like, whoa, I got to see who this is. As I'm approaching it, it just like, a switch flipped, and boom, I'm back in my body, and my eyes are open. I'm like, what the hell?
What did this thing look like again? What did it look
like? No,
it
didn't look like anything. It was just a wall.
Oh, okay,
like,
I gotcha.
Like, but I felt a presence there.
You felt the presence,
and
okay.
I felt a presence, and it was like staring at me, like totally noticing me. So I was like super curious about that. And, as I flew up to it, it very, very much seemed like, oh no, you're not going to see us. Off you go, back to body.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. So that was in Cumberland at the time. Yeah. And I didn't attribute that to anything. I just kind of noted it and put it on a shelf. So it wasn't too long after that, maybe the next couple nights, I wake up at like 3 a.m. To the vibrations. And I'm like, oh yeah, out of body time. And I get up out of my body, but now I'm in more of a dream awareness instead of the lucidity that I always brought to out of body.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You start blending it into a dream.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And you get that, you begin to exist more as the player, within a script almost, an observer instead of instead of like complete lucid interaction. So I'm out of body. I was like, oh, there's someone at the door. So I fly over to the door, open the door, and 4 steps down the landing, there's a 4-foot tall gray alien there standing.
What?
Yeah. And I'm in dream awareness, so it doesn't faze me, right? If I was out of body with my normal lucidity, I would have been like, whoa, but I'm in this.
Yeah. In dream awareness, anything could happen, right?
Yeah, so, totally. So
interesting.
I opened the door.
Well, we got to take a break there with the top of the hour, but
yeah.
So that was really cool hearing about how you got out of body, how you started doing that. And we're going to leave that where you saw the alien, and then we'll pick back up on the story here too, guys, with Alex Whitcombe. Pretty interesting stuff, and I can relate to the out-of-body stuff for sure. We'll be right back. More Lighting the Void coming up. Stay with us.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is Fee, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I'll guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root in the show, and I heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new art gal. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, aka the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
This is Barbara Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. It neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the results.
Have you heard of heavy metals? Yeah! I'm not talking about the heavy metals in the junkyard. I'm talking about the heavy metals that build up in your body. Heavy metals in your body can make you feel sluggish, fatigued, and just plain off. Why not try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? Cleansing your body and making you feel great. Cleansing the inside of your body of intruders that sneak their way into you and set up an intruder camp. Life Change Tea helps remove unwanted intruder camps. Brew it, steep it, and drink in the results. Tastes great, so you can create a new health habit. Our tea loves to help people. It just needs the chance. So order yours today by logging on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our Life Change Super Strength Tea is waiting. This could be a beautiful relationship. Take charge of your health. Order at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
The Fringe FM isn't just a radio station. We also provide services for all your audio production needs. If you are interested in live radio or pre-recorded podcasts, we're here to help. We even do audio enhancements and voiceovers if needed. If you want to do a podcast or live radio show and even want the option to syndicate on terrestrial radio, from simple audio file enhancement to live production and call screening, we have you covered. We have worked with some of the best professionals in the business in order to provide coaching instruction for content creation, show structure, and more. Contact The Fringe Digital Media for more at info@thefringe.fm. That's info@thefringe.fm, or call 501-777-5631 for a consultation.
From the Kingdom of Arkansas, you are listening to Joe Root and Lighting the Void here on the Fringe FM.
Hey, this is Amalia from Know the Self Mystery School. I know that you are in the midst of massive change. We all are. This is the great turning, the time that we all decided to be here on the planet. Do you know why you came here to be a part of this crazy time? If not, I invite you to join my mystery school. I have a 9-week course called Activate Your Mission. And in this course, you're going to learn how to erect crystal clear boundaries so that you can hear that inner still voice that's going to guide your every move. Even if you're dealing with feeling weighed down by obligations and being enslaved to the system, this course is going to give you the tools you need to illuminate your shadow and awaken to your soul's mission. The moment you sign up to the school, you are going to be greeted by not only a group of soulful spiritual warriors, but you're also going to get some massive karmic clearings, and you're going to feel the energy. It's palpable. I hope you'll join me in the school where together we're going to unlock your divine mission.
Activate your mission by going to thefringe.fm/soul mission and put in the code word fringe and receive $50 off today. Okay, Alex Whitcombe, our guest tonight. Interesting story from vibrations to out-of-body experiences. Now it's mixing in with the dream world. And you saw a 4-foot gray alien. But it didn't faze you, right? Because you figured it was just a dream. I'll let you go from there.
Yeah, I was in dream awareness, so it didn't faze me one bit. And so I opened the door, and this being is standing there, and without moving its mouth or anything, it just communicates to me. It's like, "Oh, hey, sorry to bother you, sir. I was wondering if you could help us. Could you let me in? We're having trouble with our craft."
Whoa.
And,
okay.
And me in dream awareness, I'm like, "Oh, sure, yeah. But, I'm a nice guy. I'm an altruistic person. Like, if someone needs help, I'm first to be there. So I'm like, yeah, of course. Yeah. What do you need? What do you need? And at that point, as I'm standing there talking with this being, I notice, it's hard to say. I notice that there is a circular disc-shaped object on the top of my house, just touching the top of the roof. I don't know how I know this, but I just know this. And then it blackout, and wake up the next day and remember it, but just recall it as a dream. I was like, oh, that's a funny dream. Alien.
Well, did you actually see the craft, or did you just know it was there?
No, I just knew it was there, but I knew the shape of it, and I knew where it was positioned on the house, and the size of it. I just knew it was there, but I'm at the front door, and I can't actually see it. But I guess it was like another type of seeing. I just knew it was there. Yeah, and it just felt like a dream the next day, right? Like, oh wow, that was a funny dream. So in retrospect, I said yes. They asked, hey, can we come into your life? I said yes. And I don't know that a lot of people get that option.
Can we come into your life?
Well, that's how I look at it.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right.
But they were like, the one at the door there. I was wondering if you could help me. Could you let me in? So I look at it now as the invitation, the request to enter my life.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm in pain here.
You're right. But Alex is a trooper. He's had a root canal, and he's still doing the show with us. So naturally, as a selfish radio host, I'm like, yeah, just take another pain pill. You'll be all right. Just keep taking them.
Okay. So where was I? Okay, the next day. I think it was the next day. Yes. So that one that came to the front door, I call the Inquisitor. And he was inquiring. The next one that came, I call the Scout. And so I wake up to the vibrations and get excited because it's like, oh yeah, out of body time. But find that I can't move out of my body. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And I'm
so you're
lying
paralyzed.
on my I'm in the paralyzed state, but I can't get out of body, which I found weird. Like at this point, 3 years down the road, it's very easy for me to just like, oh yeah, up and at 'em, and it's just like getting out of bed in the morning, But at this point during the night, I found I couldn't, and I was laying on my left side, so I'm facing my wife, and from behind me at my side of the bed, I can feel that same presence, that same pointed stare, the focused gaze on me. And I'm like, oh my God, there is something right beside the bed here. There's something there. Oh my God, I gotta see what this is, because I'm facing away from it. I was like, I gotta see what this is, but I can't move. I'm in the paralysis state. So I mustered up as much, like all of my will, right? I'm like, okay, break the paralysis. You got to move. You got to see what this is. I have to see what this is. And it, at one point, it just like, and I could feel it staring at me, just like really, I don't know, cold gaze.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, totally creepy. So I mustered all of my will power, and the paralysis broke. And as it broke, when it broke, I immediately like turned my body over to see what was there. And as I turned my body, like pretty violently, actually, like very fast, my left arm kind of flings over and over to the side of the bed because I just wanted to like reach for it. And my hand lands on this very, very slim, tiny wrist that is, well, I guess maybe 2.5 feet off the ground. And it lands on this incredibly tiny wrist that promptly just like, whoop, and flies away out the bedroom. And then I black out, just like that.
So so it landed on your wrist and it flew away?
No, my hand landed, like basically grabbed this thing's wrist, this being's wrist.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And it flew away. I say fly away, but it ran away. So I got you.
Like, as soon as I touched it, it's just like, oh, you got me.
What did it look like though? Was it like a ET hand or?
I didn't see it. Like my vision, like my eyes were still closed. So I think I was in physical, state of being.
Yeah.
I don't know, because sometimes it's actually hard to tell.
Did it feel human to you though at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Like as soon as I touched it, I knew I was like feeling something like
that's
quote
creepy.
Unquote alien,
Yeah.
Like not of this day-to-day world that we walk around in.
All right. So far you had a lot of out-of-body experiences. You're familiar with the vibratory state. You've had a few vision problems. You saw gray, a craft is on the top of your head. And this night you kind of rolled over and while you're doing this stuff and you grab the wrist of something. You just don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I can feel it scamper off, like, I don't know how I can feel that, but I felt it like be very surprised.
That makes sense.
My action.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't going to stick around. It felt like it was surprised at what I did, and it scampered away.
Now, at this time, were you talking to your wife or telling anybody what was going on with you, or were you keeping this all to yourself?
Yeah, that's the next day where I didn't remember that night at first when I woke up, and I think it was like during breakfast. It came rushing back to me, and my body had a very visceral response to it. Like I started shaking, and like I think it was that day or the next day. It was probably that day where I kind of fell to the floor, shaking and start crying and hyperventilating. And my wife is going, "Whoa, what's going on? Oh my God, there was this thing last night. It was by the bed, So
you had a panic attack thinking about it, basically.
Yeah, panic attack. Yeah. And so these happened. They kept visiting for 2 weeks after that, and there was, I think, 3 or 4 days where I knew nothing had happened. Like I don't remember all of the experiences, but I do remember there was 3 or 4 nights that nothing happened, and I knew this because I would get up in the morning and I would not have that visceral body response. But every other night, I knew something had happened, and I would either remember it or remember most of it, or none of it. But I knew something had happened because I would just drop to the floor and start crying.
Gotcha. So it's like dream recall, but that's usually hard to do to begin with, but it was traumatizing enough that you remembered something happened that was traumatic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and this ended up being like the most traumatic thing I've ever been through in my life, and which actually came up today at the dentist's office as well. If you remind me of that later, I'll get into that.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Interesting.
what did your wife say? Did she believe you, or did she?
Yeah. Well, we were very open about a lot of these things, and we'd always have discussions, hypothetical discussions. Oh, what about this? What about this? And talking about UFOs and paranormal stuff and philosophy and everything like that. So we had a really good a really good base.
Okay, well, that's
she
good.
She was very sympathetic at first. Like she did believe me. She was like, "Holy crap!" Like, okay, yeah, something happened, and she's very sympathetic at first. That after the first week of these experiences, though, that did end up changing because I wasn't sleeping, and hence she wasn't sleeping because I would I would be like clinging to her in bed because I didn't want to, I'd just be so afraid of something coming into the room. I would be clinging to her in bed. And so, yeah, it started to kind of affect the relationship within those 2 weeks.
Did it happen again, or was it just the trauma after that one experience? Did it keep happening?
No. Yeah, it totally kept happening. Yeah. The next night there was 2 of them. And again, I found myself in the paralytic vibratory state. And what was it? I was laying on my back, and I could feel them, 2 of them, enter the room, and were just like looking at me beside the bed. And I felt myself, like, I didn't feel hands on me, but I felt myself, my body like turn over onto its left side and exposing my back. And I don't know how I know this, but I knew they were doing something back there to me. Again, like I don't know how I know that, but I do. And so those were the 2. So, and then the next one that I vividly remember is the nurse, and this is more in a dream awareness state, and I find myself in a waiting room, and it's a circular waiting room, and I'm sitting in a 3/4 circle of like brown leather, like waiting room chairs. I'm just sitting there with my hands on my lap, nice and obedient, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's another person, another male, a young Asian male, doing the same on the opposite side of the chairs there as well. I'm looking at him, but he's not looking. He's just staring straight ahead. As I'm looking at him, I feel a hand on my shoulder from the right, and this 6 foot tall nurse comes into view, and she looks humanish, right? But her features are very exaggerated. So her head is very large. Her neck is like really skinny. Her limbs are very skinny. Her mouth very, very slim. And her eyes are what like really sets things off. I mean, she's got these huge, huge eyes. But she's dressed in a like a stereotypical like nurse uniform from like the 1950s. Like you'd see in the cartoons or something like that.
With the little flip top white hat and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So she looks into my eyes. She's like, "Oh, it's time for your haircut now." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure." All obedient, like. And she leads me to these double doors, glass doors. Leads me inside, and she's behind me at this point. And as I'm walking in, I notice everything. Like I soak it up, and there's a desk to the left, huge mahogany slab, like office reception desk, faced in stone on the bottom with a stone pillar behind it. There's a huge picture window right ahead, and it has a view of the Cobox Glacier. And this is a very prominent landscape feature in the town that I was living in. So I could see the estuary and I could see the glacier behind that. And to my right are 2 rooms. And so she leads me into the second room. And in the second room, there's a massage table. You know, one of the ones with the round, like, things where you can put your face into.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So she puts me on the table, my face down into this like hole thing, and proceeds to bring out this like weird like clamp device. And it's funny because it's like with the craft on top of the roof, I know what this thing looks like. I know exactly what it looks like. I know how big it is. I know the colors and what it's made of, but I was facing down, right? Like, but I do know exactly what this thing looked like. And she brings it out, and it's like a suction kind of pad, like rubber on the bottom, and then it comes up in the cylinder, and off of that is like 2 metal tubular handles that come out, and with like 2 little knobs on it. And then there's like a knob on the center thing. And so she clamps this thing on the back of my neck. And as soon as she does that, I go, oh my God, this is a weird haircut. And as soon as I think that, I'm back in my body. So
I would have been asking for a safe word at that point. Like, what's the safe word? Like, I know you got one.
Eggplant.
Yeah. All right. So that's kind of traumatic too, right? Like, did that traumatize you, or did you feel crazy from that, or what?
Yeah, well, the next day, no, I didn't write any of this stuff down, like as it happened. So, I wish I did. So I knew exactly what my body response was like during the next day. So I think with this one, I didn't have that body response until much later in the day. Because it was more of like the dream awareness, right? So
yeah.
I just thought it was a dream. I was landscaping at the time. That was my job. And so I went out during the day. I had some clients. I finished up the day, and it's August, so it's really hot out. And I take my hat off, and I slick all the sweat from my forehead back. And this is like at the end of the day. And as I rub my hand down the back of my neck, I feel all this like crusty stuff on the back of my neck. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I look, and it's like brown, red, crusty stuff. I thought I was dirt or something at first. And I'm like, oh, what? Did I like cut myself on like a branch or something like that? Because it looked like dried blood. So I go home and wait for my wife to come back. When she comes in the door, I'm like, hey, can you like look at the back of my neck here? Like, it's got like dried blood on it, I think. And she looks and she like gasps. And she's like, oh my God, you've got like a millimeter hole in the back of your neck. And I'm like, and as soon as she said that, like that's when my body reacted. I'm like start like shaking and like, oh my God, that was from last night. Like that's the same. That's exactly where she clamped that thing down on the back of my neck. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting, like several months later, and I'll go into this. I'll fast forward a second here because I don't want to forget this, because this is a very like important part of the experience. Several months later, I was in a car accident, like we got like rear-ended by a tree trimming truck and trailer, like at 70 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
And I ended up getting some physio from it, like from that. And I was like, oh, well, I'll get some massage too, because that'll be good. And I had never gone for a massage before, like professional massage before. So I'm looking up in the old school phone book, like yellow pages, looking for massage places, and I choose this one, Comox Harbor Massage. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Make an appointment. Go to the place, double glass doors, walk in. Everything is the same.
The same as the dream?
Everything is the same as the dream. The mahogany desk, the stone facing, the stone pillar behind it, the big picture window with the estuary, the Comox Glacier, the 2 rooms. And I'm just like, oh, what? Yeah. And I'd never been there before, ever. So I don't know if that was I don't know what that was. Was that me showing, I don't know, like them showing me something in the future? Like, I don't.
It could just be they need a place for you to, like, you could have just traveled to that place and not really known it,
Could have, yeah. Or I don't know, maybe they plucked it out of the future. Like, oh, he's going to go to this massage place here. Let's use that as like a comfortable staging ground for this haircut thing, I don't know.
Now, how long ago did this happen? Just curious.
This was in 2005.
2005.
15,
Okay.
15 years ago, almost 16. August of 2005. And so the masseuse, when I was there at the massage place, the masseuse said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm so and so. I'll be your masseuse today." And she points to the 2 rooms. She's like, "Oh, which room would you like?" And I immediately said, "Not that one."
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, which I regret. Like I totally would have wanted to go see the second room there, but it was a pretty rapid fire response there.
We only got one more segment left here. We have to take our last break, but this is getting pretty interesting. I got some theories about this, but we'll be right back to, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead and we'll open the phone line up at 1-800-588-0335, but we're going to get far into this story as we can. We'll be right back with Alex Whitcombe. Stay with us.
You love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
Want to support Lighting the Void? Just go to lightingthevoid.com, sign up on our membership page, and pick your package where you can get exclusive content, readings, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Also, check out the LTV shop where you can get your very own altar box, t-shirt, shack, hoodie with sigil, Roswell-style t-shirt, racerback tees, socks, long-sleeve shirts, stickers, and beanies. Keep Lighting the Void airing 5 nights a week by going to lightingthevoid.com and support today.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Lighting the Void and the Esoteric Scholar present the Altar Box, crafted and designed for magicians by magicians. Now you can take your practice with you. This beautifully handcrafted mobile altar opens and works as an altar for any of your spiritual, religious, or ritual practices. Made to travel and work in small spaces, the Altar Box comes with hidden compartments for your practice tools and accessories. The Altar Box also comes with a dark scrying mirror for scrying and reverses and fits perfectly also as a chalkboard for any sigil, symbol, or whatever you see fit to sketch. The Altar Box is handcrafted to carry as a small suitcase, so you may take your practice with you, and the hinges are made with solid material and hinged with leather and rivets for extra strength. The mirror piece and floor plate fit perfectly when closed, so no movement will happen. Use it in small places as well. You can practice meditation, magic, planetary magic, sigil magic, scrying, ritual. Never be without your practice tools again, no matter the setting or where you go. And this season, give the gift of magic for yourself or your loved one by grabbing your Altar Box. Was $249.99, now $199.99. The sale ends January 1st, 2021. Just go to lightingthevoid.com/altarbox and get yours while the sale lasts.
I don't know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I am a void walker. Hey, this is Macon, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Root.
All right, welcome back to Lighting the Void. Very interesting and weird and wild and kind of Twilight Zone-y story here with Alex Whitcombe. Thanks for telling us the story, man. With the root canal and you having to get it all out, it's really kind of freaky, you know. And just to recap here, you started having out-of-body experiences of vibrations, out-of-body experiences. Then you had some interactions with some beings. You were pretty detailed about that. You went through some trauma and some fear with it. Then you end up in like on a massage table, and there's a hole in the back of your like head, or is on your neck. Is that where you said it was? Like on your head?
Yeah, on the back of my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, just on the back of my.
Yeah, and then you go to the actual massage parlor that's close to you, and come to find out that that's one of them, right? So
yeah.
Now what? Now what happened?
Oh man. Okay. Well, there's like three more main experiences. The one is like the succubus. I wake up and there's wake up to a sex dream, right? What I think is a sex dream, and I know it's a sex dream. I'm like, oh yeah, there's this woman on top of me riding me.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, great. So I'm like, okay, yeah.
All right.
let's get into this. I know it's a dream, and I'm enjoying it. And then I put my hands up to her chest, and all I can feel is this like. And as soon as I realized that, I was like,
all you can feel
it's
is
one of them.
all you can feel is what?
Yeah.
That you went out for a second.
All I could feel is this like hard scaliness.
Oh, you okay?
Like a reptile skin or something like that. And I knew it was one of them. And as soon as I knew that, I like reached up, I grabbed it around the neck and pulled it to my chest, and I started yelling for my wife. I was like, Claire, 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 Claire. And as I'm holding this thing to his chest, it's not moving or struggling or anything. It's just like laying there with its head against me and like its body against my chest. And as I'm, it's almost like I liken it to video editing, where you can splice two videos together, two clips, and they kind of fade into each other. You know, like as you go to the next one, that's what it was like. So I was in the space and I was holding this thing to my chest, and like I absolutely felt it, and yelling for my wife Claire. And as the fade started happening, all of a sudden my hands are just like clenched, like right against my chest, and this thing is not there, and I'm yelling, Claire, Claire, like really like strangled.
So like you could feel it squeezing your throat, right?
No, that was me. Like it was gone.
Oh, okay.
The entity, the being was gone, and all of a sudden, like my hands or fists are just like right against my chest.
Whoa.
So it went from like holding this thing down to it not being there, and my voice went from Claire, Claire to Claire, Claire.
Oh, that's weird, man. That's so freaking weird.
So weird. And it was kind of one of the points of levity in this entire 2 weeks, because Claire at the time, she was having a dream where she was at the front of a crowd watching a concert, and she heard someone from the back yelling her name, and what she heard was this Claire, Claire, Claire.
It sounded like what you were doing.
What? Yeah. So she was hearing me as I was talking about it, but it was in her dream. So we actually had a good laugh about that, and it turned out to be.
This is weird.
Yeah.
All right. So did your wife hear you, like, or were you like in the dream yelling and she didn't hear you? I'm just curious because that happens too.
I was in bed and I was yelling, so I was like, Claire, Claire, and she was hearing it in her dream at the time.
God, that's so weird.
And then she did wake up, but
I don't know.
Rate me and stuff.
Yeah. So let me. I think I'm losing you a little bit here. Yeah, I'm losing you a little bit, but this is still strange. I know we only got like 20 minutes left. So does it get weirder than this? Like, I would be in therapy at this point.
It does get weirder than this. I know, it's so weird. I'll just go through the next one quickly. So as a landscaper, I have a healthy fear of like wasps and bees because I'm slightly allergic to them. So I'm always cautious around them. And the one I am sitting, or I find myself sitting on the edge of my bed, just staring at the wall, and this huge
I think I'm losing you, Alex. I don't know if you're on Wi-Fi or not, but I'm kind of losing you. God, it's getting good too. I hate that when that happens. That's how it happens when you do a live show, though. See if we can get them back in.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little better. I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. The Wi-Fi was getting a little weak there. Okay. Yeah, so I find myself on the edge of the bed sitting there, and this huge fly wasp thing comes in, lands on my leg, and I'm like helpless. I can't move or anything, and it's crawling on my thigh. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, don't sting me, don't sting me, don't sting me. And it looks at the goddamn thing, looks up at me with its eyes, these huge eyes. Yeah, it looks up at me, and I can like it doesn't talk, but it's like, oh, there's nothing you can do. You can't do anything. And after it says that, it just like raises its thorax and like plunges its stinger into my leg. And I just like scream in horror and black out. And the next day, yeah, I had that visceral response.
All right, so was this thing speaking English to you? Like, there's nothing you can do, right? Like,
yeah, it was like thought transference. Like, there's nothing you can do. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
you can't do anything.
I got you.
Stop me from stinging you. Yeah. So I think that was kind of a cover, like a screen memory for a needle injection.
Yeah.
And I know there was needles involved in this whole scenario. Because today, oh man, okay, Alex, you can do this. Today at the dentist, they had to freeze part of my mouth, right? So they got this cotton swab in there and started swabbing around. And I thought that was the freezing gel or something like that. And then they bring out this like stainless steel needle. And I start freaking out. I'm like, no, oh my God. Oh, I thought that was the freezing stuff. You're going to do, I was like, do you have to? He's like, yeah, we got to do that. I'm like, oh my God. And so I muscled through it. I did it, and I allowed them to like put this needle in my mouth, but I'm freaking out the entire time. And after I start shaking like really bad, and tears are pouring down my face, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? And I realized that it's like I'm letting go or I'm processing trauma from like 15 years ago from this experience. And
just feeling that probably the paralyzing feeling in your mouth and all that stuff probably triggered it, I bet.
Yeah, well, the the whole laying down on the table thing, and not being able to move while they're doing this, the lights in my face, like and yeah, I had to remove myself from the dentist's office, and I went outside, and I sat down on a chair, and I started bawling.
Whoa.
Just, like this trauma was just like coming out of me, and I knew I had it locked in there somewhere, but today was like
are you still like sometimes are you still afraid to go to sleep?
No, I'm not. No, I've come across so many damn things in my life, and I've learned not to be afraid of them, and some really freaky ass stuff too, but I'm good now. If this same stuff were to happen now, I would be right in their face. I'd be like, all right, what's the deal, guys? All right, why are you here? Tell me some stuff. Tell me some secrets. I want to know. Inquiring minds.
At least, you know what, though? I mean, at least you had somebody there beside you to support you. I'm sure there's other people out there that go through this stuff like totally alone.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I totally feel for them. Yeah, so it was good that I had Claire at the time, because I wasn't really telling it to anybody else. So yeah, that fly thing, if I can go back. The next day, we're renovating the house. I'm working on the bathroom window. I have the window removed because I'm like replacing the frame. I'm standing on the toilet, and all of a sudden I hear this, And what comes into view is the biggest goddamn fly wasp thing that I've ever seen. It's like 1.5 inches long, almost 2 inches, and it goes right in my face and looks at me with its big goddamn eyes. And I'd never ever seen anything like that in my life.
What color was it?
Show up the day after. It was like yellow and black.
Oh
like
my
the
God.
one in the dream, yeah. And I've never. It's like a massive, monstrous horsefly hybrid wasp thing.
Oh my God.
So
dude.
I scream like a woman, and like that's not a joke. I like the high pitched scream. I launch myself off the toilet, and I do the back scuttle on my butt out of the bathroom, slam the door, and end up on my wife's side of the bed in fetal position.
I don't know why I'm laughing at this. This is horrible, but
oh yeah, go ahead. But honestly, out of like the entire 2 weeks, that was the scariest goddamn thing. It was I had the holy crap.
so this thing got like buzzed like right in your face, and it was like really staring you down, right? Like,
oh yeah, totally. So yeah, my wife comes home and she sees me, in fetal position beside her bed, and she's like, "What are you doing? What happened?" And all I could just say was like, "Oh, there was a fly." There was a big fly.
That's all you could say. How long does the fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she kind of rolls her eyes. She's like, "Oh my God." Yeah, but the fly shows up later in 2018. I see it again, and I'll keep that story short. But I saw it again in a very odd circumstance. I'm out in the middle of the woods, and I hear it, and it lands right behind me. And it's the same damn thing. Like, I've looked up this fly. It doesn't exist here. It doesn't even exist. Like, I don't even know what this thing is. But after I saw that one that landed behind me, like half an hour later, I saw a black-eyed person like staring me down.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like wow, like black eyes, like absolutely. And this guy was like cold as ice, staring me down. And yeah, so I took that as like, hey, yeah, we're still around. We're, even though you told us to get out of your life, we're still keeping tabs on you.
So it seems like you're just being tortured mentally by whether it's aliens or out of body entities or insects. It seems like something's mentally torturing you almost, doesn't it?
Yeah. The question is why. I have heard of other people that have had these encounters, and the being straight up told them, like, hey, yeah, we're interested in you because of your out of body skills. Like, you've been practicing this stuff, and we noticed you because of that. And that also goes in line with like Ingo Swann and remote viewing.
Yeah. Well, even in Robert Monroe's books, or even when you study the occult, they talk about that. Like, if you do anything to go out of body or start doing those things, it kind of lights you up in the astral realm where all kinds of things can see you.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, I go back to the first experience where I got noticed, and I use that term, like notice. So yeah, I believe I was noticed because of my abilities of what I was doing.
And none of this stuff happens to you anymore.
No, different stuff happens to me, but these and bedroom visitations with the gray beings, that was all in 2005. So yeah,
interesting.
But I did shut it down. At the end of the 2 weeks, I'm just like, I'm so sick. I'm so tired. I'm just like, okay, no, you're not, get out of my life, get out of my life. And that's what I would say, like, when I went to bed. I'm not allowing this anymore. I'm not allowing this anymore.
Yeah.
And the last night, vibrations out of body. I know there's one in the kitchen, fly in the kitchen, and there's just like little short, like 3 foot tall. It looks like a boy, a very well dressed boy, like in a business suit, huge head, eyes. He's just standing there, and it's like basically saying, "Well," and I'm like, "No." And I fly up to him and I start pounding him in the head as hard as I can, but it's like punching a tank. Like, it's not doing anything. It's not even moving. I'm just like, no, get out of here, get out of here. And what I hear is like, well, hey, you had the choice the entire time. Yeah. But after that, it stopped. And I really wasn't able to do my out of body work anymore after that because of the trauma. So. I miss.
So all of that though is healed. Like, you haven't had any crazier experiences. I mean, there's probably a ton you didn't tell me about, but has it all for the most part gone away from you?
Well, yeah, the gray, entities have gone. I've had lots of other stuff, but it's not related to that at all.
I got to tell you, man, I wonder what people actually think is going on here. I know it sounds like, because you had some physical, like spots on your body and stuff like that, that it sounds like you're definitely interacting with the realm, but this realm, whatever it is, the question I had before you came on was, why does a strange thing seem to happen to some people on different levels, right? And I think for you, it's obvious that you tapped into something or got noticed, as you call it, and got messed with a little bit.
Yeah. I think also, like, I'm a highly creative person, artist, and I know that that's a majority of people that experience these things, or a large percentage anyways, are creative people. And I mean, there's other stuff too involving my dad and remote viewing classified projects in the 70s with Ingo Swann and other psychics. So there's that.
Was your dad involved with, like, what, Project Stargate, or?
It was Project Deep Quest, I think it was called.
Deep Quest, okay.
Yeah, it was a precursor to Stargate.
Yeah.
But involving Hal Puthoff and Stephen A. Schwartz and Dale Graff, Ingo Swann, Hella Hammond. So he was involved in those, and I don't know. I have the feeling that something happened there with my dad, and it somehow got transferred to me, like as a 3-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't prove this because he passed away, and
I'm sure you got all kinds of questions. I mean, because look, I'd want anybody, if they could, like, listen to, go on Audible. I'll say it a million times, I don't care, and listen to the trilogy of Journeys Out of the Body with Robert Monroe, the whole trilogy, and you'll start understanding why some people have experiences with aliens, beings, stuff like that. But the fly thing, like, that's something I've never heard anything like that before, ever.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
And whatever it was it's almost like it was communicating with you in the physical realm too, in a different way.
Yeah. Well, that's I look, previous to this experience, I was an ETH guy. I thought nuts and bolts craft from other planets, and if you were going to meet aliens, it would be in a field somewhere, and they'd come down and open the door. But this was all like in the psychical realm. It was all in the astral. And but yet there was those physical effects that showed up after, and the fly thing was so weird, and then it just it does it's
Very
awesome.
It is awesome, but it's very strange,
yeah.
man. Like it belongs on the X-Files for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I gotta write a book one of these days.
we gotta wrap this up, but yeah, I mean, if you want, can you give anybody like links? I don't know. I know you have a artist, like a creative thing that you do. Your Facebook page, right?
Yeah, I got Instagram and Facebook. That's my my sculptures at Drifted Creations, Vancouver Island, Facebook, and then Drifted Creations on Instagram. So if anybody wants to check out my driftwood art, they can do so there.
Fantastic. Listen, what you need to come. We'll have to do this again, and you can tell me some more the rest of these experiences too, and maybe when you're feeling a little better too. But that was still one of the most interesting shows we've ever done. So thanks for coming on, man.
Oh well, yeah, Joe, absolute pleasure. I'd love to. You're a great host there, so and really enjoyed talking with you.
Absolutely, we enjoyed hearing it. And guys, the Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable's coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same channel, live right here on the Fringe FM. You guys have a good night. Take care. Sweet dreams. Dude.